sure everything's working. Hey, testing limits. Good morning, guys. How you doing? Hold on. Make sure everything's working here. Let me check something really quick. Oh, it's all the same thing. Oh, okay. There it is. Okay, got it. No worries. I had to set up the pop-up chat. Everybody, can everybody hear me? Hey, testing limits. Good morning. Hellfire Zombie is here. Becky's here. It's Sunday. I figured this out. Hello, Windsor, Orlando, Canada. Oh, hello. Welcome, Canada. I want to come back out there. I did Northern FanCon, which I know is not. It's Prince George Island. Not really. Where are you located in Canada? Because I would love to come back. Really quickly, everybody. Today we're only going to be streaming for an hour. I have prior engagements I have to take care of, but as a quick stream today, I want to give you guys a little bit of an update of what I'm working on. If you haven't heard already, I'm going to be going to MegaCon in Orlando, Florida, at the convention center. This is going to be my first time doing MegaCon, and it's a big convention because it's just the guest list is insane on celebrity actors and all my cosplaying friends. There's a lot of cosplayers I've been following on social media, and they're going to be there because apparently a lot of cosplayers in Florida. So I'll be out there, and it's going to be fun. It's a long weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll be doing not one, but two, but three workshops. I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but I am working on. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, guys, Mr. Sugar. Sorry, guys, I'm texting with one of my friends. Anyway, but I'm working on some patterns. I have things I want to do. I'm working on a couple of patterns. When I was at Enemy Los Angeles, a lot of people came to my booth, which again I was trying to figure out how to slow. You know, it's so funny. I can do it on Twitch, show slides, do pictures on images when I'm doing my OBS when I'm broadcasting my OBS. But there's some way of I don't know how to figure out on how to do it on YouTube yet. So I do have a tech guy, Peter, my assistant, and I'm gonna sit down with him and we'll try to work this thing out. But I've been frantically getting stuff ready and packing things up. There's some I do a slideshow called Behind the Scenes in the movies I worked on, and I found a box. Excuse me. I've been moving things around. And I found a giant box. In the olden times, guys, in my generation, we would take pictures and then we would put it on film, and we'd take it to the photo labs, and they would print it on paper, and we'd have little photos. And so I collected that stuff. So it was a bit of a shutterbug when I started working in the movie industry. So I found this archive of pictures. I'm like, oh my God, I need to really update my behind the scenes. So I've been doing that lately. And there's a lot of pictures. So I'm going to try to go through them as much as I can and get them organized. You're not using OBS to broadcast on YouTube. Yes, I am, Becky. That's my OBS set up. I set up, you can set it up to do it through YouTube. You're not using OBS to broadcast on YouTube. Yes, Becky, I am. It was quite easy. Everything was, my OBS is already set up. It has all my windows and all the setups, all the multi-cameras. So when I get to building and doing my live streams, because when you go on YouTube, it gives you one channel, one camera, and you can't switch it. So on my OBS, I have multiple cameras. So when I start getting to build stuff, which my plan is this one to go is today I'm just kind of getting to test the waters on doing my YouTube live, and I'm going to get ready to do some build videos. I'll have multiple cameras so I can switch back and forth while I'm building. I always had too much trouble with Twitch, and I had to stop watching you on that. Oh, I'm sorry, Hellfire Zombie. Well, guess what, buddy? You can watch me here on YouTube. Does it work better for you? Hey, John Hayes says, how do you come with the name Evil Ted. It's evil spelt like in a horror theme. That is a great question. Yes, it is done like a horror theme. I will give you the details. I grew up in the 60s. I was a kid, born in the 60s and 70s, born in the 60s. I was born in 63. And as I got older, there was a magazine called Famous Monsters of Filmland. And it was like the fan magazine of a kid. And I liked horror. I liked monster movies. I liked more monster movies and less horror. I wasn't really much of a horror fan, but I liked monster movies and sci-fi. And so monster movies and sci-fi just got lumped together in my generation growing up. 60s and 70s, like all that weird monster sci-fi stuff. So they just lumped them all together. As the years gone on, people divided now. You get horror and sci-fi and anime. Like there's so many different categories. But growing up, it was just monsters and sci-fi thrown together. And there's a magazine called Famous Monsters of Filmland, and I loved it. It would have behind the scenes. It was, and there's actually Forrest Ackerman and those guys. They started the magazine. And they knew that these guys were such fans. They wanted to make a magazine for fans like us, and they let the world know that there was more than just 5 people that I knew that loved what I loved. So it made such an impression on my mind that when I started doing my font, I had my friend Ted, we were nicknames to each other. My best friend was Ted, and so he was always Ted. So our going joke was he was good Ted and I was evil Ted, and just kind of like. So when I started my YouTube channel, I wanted to call it something, and I thought it'd be funny to call it Evil Ted, just because it's funny and it's kind of an oxymoron because I'm not really evil, but just I love the font, and so I did that, and that's the origin of that name. And so I based the font off the same font they did for Famous Monsters of Filmland. That's their font. And the Misfits, the band, stole it and used it for their font for years. Then just the question might stream. YouTube figured you just stay bad words, right? Hey, Karazora, how you doing? Welcome. YouTube works far better for me than... Okay. I looked at Fangoria and Gorzone. Hey, Mark Knight, how you doing? Yeah, Fangoria was... It bloomed in the 80s. The 80s was the peak of the horror slasher movies, So... But yeah, I remember Fangoria. Fangoria had a weird font too, didn't they? I know they had like a cleaner font, but Kagato, hey man, how you doing, buddy? Guys, Kagato, my friend in chat, he's also a fellow cosplayer, a builder extraordinaire. We got to bump into him at Anime LA, and I've seen you several times at Anime LA. Is it going to be your regular stomp? Because it was great seeing you out there, and if people don't know this, Anime Los Angeles is our local convention here in Los Angeles. Well, it's at Long Beach, but they do it every year, and I'm always a guest there every year. It's like my local con I do every year. Most cons, that bring me and fly me out, but this one's local, so I always pile my car up and drive out and do the convention. What makes Anime LA so wonderful is that I'm not flying in, I'm driving in, so I can bring all my stuff, and they're really nice. They give me a big table space. I get 2 tables. I can put up my mannequins and put all the stuff on display. And it's such a great deal. And every year I do a raffle. Over the years I make things and I'll have a couple items. So I always have like 2 or 3 items I raffle off every year. And it's been such an anime tradition that every time I went back, I was so happy this year when I came back, people came to my booth and said, "What are you raffling off this year?" I'm like, "Excellent. You guys are catching on." He goes, yeah, Kirko says, Anime LA, WonderCon, and BlizzCon are my 3 regular cons. BlizzCon, I got there by accident. I was very happy. There's a cosplayer, something adventure, and she had extra tickets, and she just gave me one. And granted, guys, BlizzCon's like $200 or $300 for a ticket, and I think it was $250 or something like that. She bought me a ticket, so I'm like, oh my god, it was just like a one. It was a pass, and I could only go one day, so I went on Saturday. No, I ended up going. No, I went on. I went Friday. That's what it was. I wouldn't do Saturday. I ended up going Friday, but it was a blast, and it was thanks to her I was able to go and had a great time. WonderCon, I like WonderCon. I was always hoping they would bring me. I wrote to them several times, and they just keep blowing me off. So I was like, "Hey, I'd love to come out. Guys, if you guys give me a booth," and they're like, "Meh." Like, "No, thank you, Ted." I'm like, all right. Starlog goes, "Oh, dude, right? Hellfire Zombies, right? Starlog magazine. You're right. It was Famous Monsters of Filmland, and then when Starlog came out, I was like, wow. Hey, I got a subscriber. Just subscribe, guys. Thank you. That's Ryan D. Cruz. Thank you so much for the subscription, guys. Again, everybody, if you're new to my channel, I make content here. Not only do I have content, I have a website called eviltedsmith.com where I have numerous patterns, supply links if you guys are new to cosplay. I'm working on some new videos about basic crafting and getting into cosplay. And I have some elaborate builds I'll be doing in the future, but I'm going to start making some basic videos about just cutting, gluing, painting, sanding, all kinds of stuff. But Starlog magazine, yes. I got when that came out, I kind of catered to Starlog. I stopped getting Famous Monsters of Filmland and just got Starlog. I was the first magazine I got a subscription to. I bought a subscription to Starlog and loved it. Yeah. Yeah, it was a big late 70s. It was Star Wars launched that, I think, pretty much. Have you ever make a magazine or thought of doing one? No. Dude, I have friends. My friend Beverly put out a fantastic book about crafting. Is that it there? It's a fantastic book. And as for a magazine, no, it's too much. I have barely enough time running my YouTube channel as it is trying to put out a magazine. But thank you. I appreciate the thought. Getting together justified the price. Yes, at BlizzCon. Oh, a muscle build suit. It's funny. I did one a long time ago for like a monsters thing I was making. And I was going to do it for like a film thing I was working on. But I tell you what, there's not to Mark Knight, not to shoot myself down, but there's so many people out there who already done it, and I think have done a really good job, better than I can. I mean, if I made a muscle suit, I would probably just do foam and like put thin foam and put rubber on it, latex, make it like a monster suit. But there's guys out there who made really nice muscle suits, and they make them, and they sell them. And I think there's some guys that have videos on how they make them, and so it's a lot of sewing and stuff. You get a spandex suit, and they put those muscles on them, and they usually put spandex over them. There's different processes, but when you make a muscle suit, I found it's always good to have you need to have a spandex over the foam itself, so when you put a costume on, it slides over the spandex itself. Because most muscle suits in the movie industry, like Gorilla, my friend Beth Hathaway makes gorilla suits, and they make these foam muscles for the gorillas, and they put fur over it, and they want the fur to slide, so they make a spandex suit for the actor, and then they put fur over it, and the fur slides on top of the spandex, so it moves more realistically. But it's a process. But I think it's cool, but no, I probably won't be doing that because it doesn't really interest me that much. I like making stuff that really excites me, and so that's what I build. And people always like, how do I decide something to build? There's things that excite me, and so in this year, 2024, I'm gonna do a lot more cyberpunk stuff, but more armor, less. I made a bunch of face things and doodads. If you go to my website, eviltedsmith.com, I have patterns for like cyberpunk enhancements on your face. But I'm going to start making some body armor in the based in the cyberpunk world, but not exactly from. I only ask because I have a bit of a belly on me, brother. I do too. I've been walking 3 miles every day, like about 30 minutes in the morning, just to get it off me. I'm working on that belly. Belly makes shapewear for men. Yeah, put on like a girdle or spandex, Spanx. Again, everybody, let you guys know I'm going to only be streaming till almost till 10 o'clock. But just keep me. This is what I love about YouTube It's that when I streamed on Twitch, it was mostly people who were there, very serious builders, and we would just build. And but I always wanted to come online and just aid, do answer questions and talk to people. And so if anybody had any questions about cosplay or building or whatnot, I like doing live streams. And I promise you, and I know that I said this last Sunday, I'm going to gear up to do a project and start doing a build during the stream. Some things I want to start working on, and I figured I could start doing that on YouTube. Oh, excuse me. Oh. But everybody out there right now, what is your anybody in chat? Is there anybody going to be joining me at MegaCon this year? Which is it's literally February 1st. It's coming up. I got a couple days to pull stuff together to go. So if anybody's in Florida is going to be there, let me know, because I'm looking forward to meeting everybody. I did a lot of weight training, bodybuilding many moons ago due to being a wrestler, and now I just got a stocky build. Yeah, Mark, I understand. My friends, you're big. I've been losing weight because I found that this sounds crazy. It's just calorie counting. I have a little app on my phone. I count my calories, and then when I'm walking, the thing is interesting is that I found that if you just watch what you eat and walk a lot, I've been losing weight. My plan is I want to drop a bunch of weight and start working out again. But before I start working again, I'm just trying to get the weight off me first. And just doing a lot of walking and counting calories is helping a lot. I got an app. What the heck is that app called? I can give them a free plug here. Hold on. Wait, Becky, did you message me? Becky says. Becky just sent me something. Oh, I'll have to watch that later, Beck. But hold on, let me check my app real quick. Yeah, MyFitnessPal. It's called MyFitnessPal. Yeah, MyFitnessPal. And it keeps track of the calories and stuff, and you just keep track of what you eat, and you don't realize how much I overate a lot. I just overate all the time. So, focus. There it goes, guys, focus. Just might be signing up for a hike today, Becky. All right. I wish I had more. I wish I was more over in the States, because I'd love to see you at one of these conventions. Mark Knight, I completely agree. Here's what I do, guys. Hey, Kathy Bigo, good morning. How you doing? Go to my website and get on my mailing list. And also, you guys can go to my eviltedsmith.com. I have an event page, and it has events. When you click on events, it tells you when. Here's the thing: is that when we get conventions, or when Peter and we book a convention, the first thing we do, we post it on our event page, so people want to know where I'm going to be next. Go check my event page, or even better, if you're lazy like me and not check things all the time, get on my mailing list. You get on my mailing list, you get a weekly email from me of telling me what I'm working on, what's coming up next, what convention's going on, what I'm working on. So it's the best way to do that is just to get on my mailing list. Because every time I go to a convention, people go, "Oh my God, Evil Ted, I can't believe you're here." I'm like, "Do you follow my social media?" Like, yeah. I was like, if you want to make sure to know where I'm at, get on my mailing list. If you're a fan and want to meet me, get on my mailing list. Also, when you do any shopping, go to my website, eviltedsmith.com, and shop through those Amazon links. That helps a lot. Oh, guys, really quickly, a big shout out here on YouTube. You guys haven't seen it already. I did the video on the making of Akira, the laser rifle. If you guys haven't watched that video, it's fun. Unfortunately, it's not much of a tutorial. It's more of a behind the scenes. I was rushing to get that done because I helped my friend Danica. She did a Kickstarter to raise the money to make the documentary for the movie, and she did it. She raised the money, and I wanted to be a part of it. So I said, "What to help and give the incentive to people to donate to her cause?" I made a laser rifle for the movie, and that was part of the giveaway. So if you donated money, you would throw your hat in the raffle to pick somebody out randomly of who would win it. And I think this guy in Florida won it. I know I wrote him an email hoping he would say something, but he never did. But he got it though. I found out he did get it. Oh, think back, yeah. Why don't you do a costume rental service? Might be an ad for making. Oh my God, Mark Knight. It's hard to make any kind of money on rentals. I worked at a prop house for 15 years, and One thing that props get a lot of is the crap beat out of them. Now, if you're a big company like Hand Prop Room, where I worked at, they have that worked in their contract. Like, if there's damage or things like that, they have to you put down a deposit to rent the stuff. You rent the things, but there's also a clause that when they return them, people have to go in the returns and go through and look at everything and make sure there's no damage to it. If there is damage, they bump you and pay you for that and stuff like that. But when it comes to costumes, people beat the crap out of them. And I have all the costumes I built. I built for years, and I still have them because you know why? I treat them well. I store them well. I treat them well. When I wear them, go to cons, I'm always careful with them. It's like something. It's just like it's like your car. It only lasts as good as you treat it. And when you take something when you give it to people, to somebody, and give something that's not theirs, they're not as careful with it, and they'll beat the crap out of it. And then so it's kind of a hard thing to do. It's a rental thing. Yeah. And most people that go to conventions want something particular. People want to make their own costumes. But so it goes. Becky says, I used to be a manager at costume rentals. Oh my God, the work is endless. And then when you find after a while what you're charging to rent the costumes is not really enough to pay for the maintenance of the costumes. It's really tough. It's that's why when there's this place called Western Costumes out here in Los Angeles, and they have everything under the sun, and you can rent really nice costumes, and it's a little pricey, but then when you come back, they inspect that costume. There's something off, and they'll charge you for it. So it's a ton of work, and Becky's right. So now what I like doing is I'm making. It's funny you say that. Was that who answered that question again? Was that Mark? About the rental thing is that I'm making stuff for rent for my friends. I have a lot of friends who are filmmakers and things, so I'm making stuff and saving a lot of things. So when people go, hey, I need a space gun, or I need a spacesuit, or I need this kind of sci-fi weapon or whatnot, I'll have an arsenal of things I've collected over the time, building things for myself, that I lend them to people. And so I've done that. I've rented. I just loan them to my friends, but there's sometimes my friends will do a little bit. Oh, there's a movie called Space Wars I helped my friend on. And I did spacesuits and control panels for that show. And he paid me because it was during Christmas last year. Oh, no, the year before, yeah. And is that 2 years now? Wow, I think it is. Yeah, it was ages ago. But I did that for him, and I now have them. I kept them. I have 2 spacesuits. That's part of my deal. If I make things for friends, when the show is over, I usually get it back too. Oh, here's a perfect example. I did my friend Garl made a movie called Automation, and it was in a robot costume I've had, and I've had it for years. And they wanted to borrow it for the shoot. I'm like, yeah, sure, okay, you know. And I loaned the costume to him. And when the movie was done, the costume was trashed. It was destroyed to the point where I couldn't even save it. It was so destroyed because the people on set didn't know how to store it, because it was a low budget film, so they hired a bunch of kids, and the suit was beat the crap, and the guy would take the suit and he threw it in a trash bag and put it in a hot car. And like, where's the costume? Oh, it's in the car, baking in the sun. So when I got it, it was all distorted, and I tried to save it. And after a while, I was like, it was just, again, they didn't know what they were doing. Didn't hire anybody with experience. They know how to take care of a good costume. So the costume was literally destroyed. And they came back to me, hey, Ted, we're doing another movie. I'm like, I'm not working with you guys ever again. My friend Garo was great, but the production people were like, I was done after that film. Like, nope. I'll work with Garo again. So Garo did his own film, and so I ended up doing it. Hey, Ace. Good morning. I suppose some people can be pigs with other people's property. You hear all about that. Them on Judge Judy. I would love to make a cyborg costume. Hey, Danny Knight. That's what I'm going to be doing some more cyberpunk stuff this year. A lot of things I want to do. I have some small projects and fun things I want to do, but I'm working on. I got a calendar I put on my wall. This is my new thing this year. Is I'm setting dates. I'm getting ready for this convention right now, but I have this big calendar. I'm going to start picking projects and running down deadlines, and because I find I need to have a deadline on some certain jobs I'm doing. I say, oh, I'll do this and that. I need to start getting that stuff done. So we're going to be doing that shortly, making the schedule. Um, but anyway, oh yeah, we still got plenty of time. Oh man, an hour. Hours of plenty of time to stream. This is great. But so far, people doing the live stream here on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. Hey, Danny Knight. Yeah, Danny Knight and Mark Knight. Get the Knights. I'm working on a video right now about is that Gretchen Zeppelin? Gretchen Zeppelin? Again, I'm great with phone, bad with names. Hello, thank you for coming and hanging out. A casual cyberpunk costume is on my list and things to make this year. Yeah, right. It's just in cyberpunk, it's jackets, like some goggles, maybe some makeup, and like a mechanical hand. Because in the game, it's mostly fabric, but I want to make a jacket and I want to make a faceplate thing. There's these called Maelstrom guys that are they get addicted to cyber implants, and they kind of go nuts, and so they keep swapping body parts out, so they're more mechanical and less human. They're just all cyber enhanced. They get like tons of eyeballs and lenses. They have like these spider faces, and they're kind of like the bad guys in the game. They're a gang. They're the there's all these different factions of gangs and 6th Street and that, but those guys are really cool looking, and so that's on my list to build one. I have a V costume. I have V, but I want to do my own version of like my own Evil Ted cyberpunk character. So I'm working on that. But have a jacket, make my own jacket. Can I post tutorials on making replica statues of movie monsters or superhero, etc., using different methods like mannequins and sculpting, etc.? John, you can post videos on anything you want. It's what excites you, what creates you, and you think, hey, maybe somebody would be into this. How do you know? Make a video. I think it's a great idea. You can post and make videos about anything you want. I mean, just none of any kind of sexual stuff. Or I always find too that making things about bombs or guns or things like that, they get kind of weird about. I'm a friend of Knight Rider and love Kit. Linz's original Trans Am version, yeah. There's people who bought those cars and modify them into kit cars. They found that particular year and model and they modified them. I have a brother. Well, Danny and I have a brother-in-law in real life. Hey guys, really quickly, if you are doing videos or TikTok or whatnot, I bought something that's been a game changer and I want to share with you guys. There are these little adapters here. Oh, I should find the brand or the name. I'm telling you about it. But it's this little kit right here. It comes with an adapter under your phone and 2 microphones that are wireless. And you charge them. They charge them up. You charge the microphones independently, and you plug this guy into your phone, and it taps the microphone. So you have like a wireless mic. And so, because sometimes when you're holding the phone, the microphone doesn't pick it up as well. This thing is awesome. So, $20. It was amazing. I bought this, and so when I make little TikToks and stuff, I snap this in, and the sound quality is perfect. I'd suggest you go through my Amazon link. You should I should find this link and add it to my shop because I love this thing. Hey, good morning, Cast of 1000. Good morning. How you doing? I wonder if you could make. Oh, you're asking me, John. Again, that doesn't appeal to me. I build what I like to build. Like I always tell people, I know what got me into the YouTube channel and doing tutorials and teaching kids how to craft things. It all started with building things I like to build, because I spent almost 15 years at a prop house, and my job was to build stuff they brought me. Some stuff was cool, some stuff was lame, Sometimes it was boring, but it didn't matter. It was my job. And I won't lie, after a while, it just became a factory, it became a job. I'd show up, punch in, punch out, knock stuff out really quick. And sometimes it asked for stuff that was really difficult, but you had to do it because it's your job and it's going super fast. But when I started making YouTube channels, it's like, I'm going to make what I want to make. I want to build what I want to build. I want to build things that excite me. And that's what makes cosplay, is about passion. If you want to build something, it's good to build something that you really want to build. And John, if you want to do this kind of stuff, you should pursue it. You should investigate, get into it, because obviously it's something that excites you. It doesn't excite me as much, but it excites you, and that's the thing you need to get started, is getting that passion to build something. Great, thanks again for oh dude, Cast of 1,000 Studios, guys, really quickly, he took my space helmet with the chrome visor. I call it the Space Marine, I think, helmet. I should have called it Space Soldier, because I realized Space Marine is kind of a Warhammer thing, so I've learned. But he did that with the Gears of War armor, and it looks spectacular. It's so great. Can you? What is your name on Instagram so people can follow you? If you guys want to see this, it's super cool. He has his Instagram. Are you by the same name on Instagram? Yeah, you got to build what you want. Horsehead Production says you got to build what you like. Amen, brother. I hear you. Oh, and the shares. You're welcome, brother. Because it was, I saw it had to share. It was super cool. I think you did a fantastic job. I usually build stuff that doesn't involve franchise. Danny Knight, same here. I get inspired by franchise, but that's what the cyberpunk stuff. I like having fun with it. Oh, yeah, he's got Cast of Thousands on Instagram. All right, there you are, guys. You guys, really quickly, go open your phone and go to Instagram. Check it out. Give him a follow. That's great. It's fun stuff. And thanks for joining me here on live. Oh, you know what I should do? Hold on. I just realized this. There you go. All right. I keep forgetting I had that made a while back. Evil Dead Live. When I made that sign, I loved it. I'm like, but I want to be able to swip it out and change it. So I had the and don't know if you remember, we were table neighbors at King Kong. Oh my God, dude, yeah, that was years ago. Oh, that's right. Oh my God. I do now. It took a while. This old hard drive takes a little bit to reboot, but I do remember you. You're very talented. You have some great stuff on your table. I remember that now. Man, how you been doing? I know, who runs King Kong? He always tries to get me to come back. He's nice, but it's like, he always says, hey man, you should come out. I'm like, can you pay my appearance fee and give me a hotel room and a table? And they're always like, we can't really do that. I'm like, I know, I can't do that showing up for fun anymore. I don't really have a lot of merch. I do have merchandise I sell, but it doesn't make it worth my trip unless I'm doing an appearance fee. What is, I was sculpting. That's right. You were. And that's right. I do, because I was thinking, I remember a bunch of really nice sculptures. You did really nice sculptures. But it's closed this year. Oh, I can understand. Yeah, dude, it's tight. It's hard to run something financially. Yeah, you were sculpting. Do you remember you were fantastic sculptures? You had like a, wasn't like a Judge Dredd character, or there's something like a mechanical guy thing. There's something about, you had something that really got my attention. It's coming back to me now. It's, oh my God, it's such a small world, man. but it closes. Yeah, it's man, it was so long ago, dude. It's funny because I was before I was married, and I had Cecily as my assistant. I had a young girl named Cecily, and she was my assistant. Yep. Yeah. See, I do remember. Yeah, you get some really good stuff. So I could see that you were sculpting, and you took that talent and that energy and put it to foam fabricating, which is great. I always tell people, like, well, I don't really work with foam. I'm always telling people it's just a softer, easier medium to work with. Um, a machine head looking guy. That's it. Yes. Oh my God, that's right. Like, were you selling it? Was it something you were selling? Because at the time, I was pretty broke. Uh, oh, you remember? Yeah, she's hard to forget. She was a spitfire, ball of energy. She was high energy, a lot of fun. Um, yeah, because I think you were selling those things. Yeah, Cecily, I wonder how she's doing these. I see her briefly. I think the last time I saw her was at an anime expo or something. It was years ago, but most like some people. Uh, I've really gotten into foam smithing the last 2 years. Oh, fantastic, excellent. Because yeah, you have actually a fantastic skill set, and you're a good painter. I remember your paint job's really good too, and translating that onto foam just excels. Oh, Dan goes, hey, heads up, I have a laser engraving machine. Really quickly, guys, there's an old saying, practice what you preach. I always tell people to start in creative and learning, but my big thing is right now is I want to get a laser cutter and cut foam. But before I go through all that trouble, spending that kind of, getting that kind of money, is that I need to learn how to use Inkscape. Inkscape is a program that's free, and you can draw files and laser. So basically, I need to figure out how to draw my designs first and figure things out. Because what I want to do is I want to start making foam kits, and I need a laser cutter to do some prototypes and foam building. So my plan is if I make a kit and I do a foam, do a kit and it works, then I can take the file, send to a bigger company, and I can laser cut a bunch of them. Because I always find when doing laser cutting is you need a professional laser cutter. You can cut some small projects, but doing big bulk order, you need something you can take a machine and cut them all out. Matter of fact, I have my friend Lawrence Iwood, who has a great laser cutter business, and I'm going to get the files figured out and get them to him, and then he'll cut them for me. But I would like to start having more foam kits. Right now, I have I have a cyberpunk goggle kit that I travel with, and I'll show you guys. Here, let me grab it real quick. It is. I have a video on making these, and I made it, and so I thought it's a really simple kit. So I made it. You can turn them on. There's the lights, and you can actually see through the goggles. You can see the holes. There's holes, and when you put it on, you can actually see through it. Granted, you can't see great, but if you guys would like this, I have a whole video on this on how to build and how to make your own. But what I'm doing is I'm traveling to conventions and having a laser kit. They're all what it is just a foam kit that's all pre-cut out with a laser. And then when you get the kit, you can assemble it by watching the video. And I'm making two right now. I made a yellow pair, an orange pair to put on display. So these are the yellow looks crazy on the video, but that's I was gonna do orange, but I thought orange is too close to yellow, or too close to red, so I wanted to make one yellow. But I'm selling these kits at the conventions, and I know people are like, you should sell it in your shop. I'm like, it takes money to make money. I have to get money into, but then I'm thinking about doing pre-orders. So make them, do a video about it, and then do a pre-order, take the money from the pre-order and do that, put toward the sale. So that's my plan. I use Adobe Illustrator or Vector Graphics, but Inkscape is a great option. Thanks. Yeah, because I have Adobe Premiere. But I figured I just learn on Inkscape first, and if I do want to upgrade or do something like that, you don't need a laser cutter. You don't need a laser cutter. You also need a 3D printer. Works out. Yeah. Here's the thing, guys. You don't need either. You don't need. That's what my next video is on. Is you don't need a laser cutter or 3D printer or anything like that to get into cosplay. I think a lot of people starting off the cosplay think, oh God, I have to get all these big tools to get in cosplay. And you don't. You need hands and imagination and some real simple tools. And those tools I've been using for decades of years. Oh, when are you going to be close to Nashville? TG, it's a great question. Is there a local convention? Did you guys have one in Nashville? If you do, reach out to your Nashville convention and say, hey, we'd love to have Evil Ted as a guest. How I go to conventions is that people reach out to me. I found out really quickly that a kit would be amazing. Thank you, TG. I'm working on it. He goes, I still have it hanging on my wall. People like my stuff, but rarely purchase. You know, it's so funny. It's when you have something that it's more like an art piece or display. People admire it and love what they look, but they're like, how can I use this? And so, yeah, it's hard to sell pieces. And I see people struggling with that. That's why I said, when you start making things that people can wear or put on, or it's just, but again, it's hard to nail a market to what sells and what doesn't sell. But really quickly to let people know, beginning of this year, last year and the beginning of this year, Peter, my assistant, and I would we just go through all the cons we want to go to. We need this giant list of conventions that we'd like and hear about, and we found it really quickly. Hey, babe, let me know when you have to go, okay? Okay. Give me a warning. So what is that? We made a big collection of them. So we started to reach out to them. We found out they're next to impossible to get a hold of. They don't have emails like, hey, want to join our convention? Here's where you can write to us at. Or like that. There is none. That most cons don't have. They don't have it set to where you go to them, they come to you. So I've discovered from now on that people like me to come to their conventions. They need to reach out to that convention and say, hey, we would like Evil Ted as a guest. And that's what you guys need to do. So I would love to come and see you, meet you personally, bring all my stuff, do workshops, do panels. But in order for me to get there, you have to let them know that you want me there. So again, guys, thank you. That'd be great. The old style are the best ways of doing things. They're also cheaper. Look at the way they made Thunderbirds. You know what's so funny, Mark Knight? Thunderbirds and the era was back in those days. It was Jerry Anderson. Jerry Anderson did the Thunderbirds, and it was puppets. And it was challenging because he had a small crew of people. And everything was much cheaper back then. And they worked a lot doing puppets and stuff like that. But it's very expensive because every shot is an effect shot. So even when the puppets are talking, that's an effect shot. The puppets getting up from the table and walking to the car is an effect shot. The rocket launching is an effect shot. So every shot in that show is an effect shot. So when Matt and Trey, the guys from South Park, hey man, we're gonna make a funny movie called Team America, and it'll be funny, it'll be great. And so they tried to buy the rights to Thunderbirds. And when Jerry Anderson found out they were going to do a parody of it, they're like, Jerry Anderson's like, I'm not interested. Like, they wanted to buy it. They wanted to buy his show, buy the rights and everything for Thunderbirds. And Jerry Anderson was very interested in doing it. When he found out they're going to do a parody of it, he's like, I'm not selling that to you guys. And so, okay. Then they decided they had to make their own thing. And Matt and Trey, bless their hearts, they're super funny and super creative, but they had no idea what they're getting themselves into. So they pushed forward on making Team America. And just, it'll be funny. It'll be super cheap. It'll be easy to do with just a bunch of puppets and strings. And they started doing it, and they started realizing it was a financial nightmare. They went over budget, over scheduled. It was taking, because they hired directors that never worked with puppets before. There was no puppeteers. They had to find puppeteers to puppet the puppets. And so it became this giant money pit. They were throwing millions of dollars into it. And they already agreed to do the film, and they were out of money. So Matt and Trey literally had to work for free for months just to get the film done, and it was miserable. And I go lesson learned because they didn't do any research. They didn't check in how the movie was made. They didn't talk to visual effects guys. They didn't talk to miniature builders or prop makers. They were just like, oh, it'll be fun, it'll be cheap. And they just greenlit it, and they pitched it to the studio, and the studio said, great. And they thought, oh, it'll cost about this much to make. They had no clue. So again, their arrogance kind of bit them in the butt because making a show like that was a financial. So I had friends, and the reason I know all this in graphic detail is I had friends that worked on it, and they said it was a nightmare from the day one. They started shooting it, and everybody, it was over schedule, over budget, and they kept screaming at the directors and the effects people, and everybody would just point fingers. Well, it's these guys that are not getting done. So they were firing people, rehiring people, firing people. Yeah, it was a nightmare. So when you ask those guys about that movie, they said it was a nightmare, and they'll never make another one like that ever again. And they learned. Yeah, every shot, an effect shot. Marcus says, what is your next foam build video? My next foam build, John, is going to be on tips and tricks on how to do basic building. The stuff that you're talking about, just simple basic videos. I want to do a video on just cutting tools. My first video is going to be the basic tools you need to get started. I'm going to do my first video is going to be just a basic video on how to get started in cosplay. You don't need a 3D printer. You don't need a laser cutter. You don't need a Cricut machine. All you need is your hands, imagination, and a cutting mat and some tools. And that's what I'm going to do the video. I'm going to do a series of videos. And then I'm going to do cutting. Then I'm going to do gluing. Then I'm going to do sealing. And I'm going to do painting. But I'm going to break them up in short little videos. So each one's a separate subject. In the early days, I would make a video and try to cram all that information into one video. And I thought, if you're on the internet and you want to get started, you don't want to watch this giant video on all these techniques. Just watch a video on one technique. So I'm going to make some super short, focused videos on just one particular technique. So making videos, opposed to making one video with a bunch of stuff in it, a bunch of short ones on just one thing. So that's my next big thing I'm going to be doing. I'm actually going to be starting on that today when I get back. Bring Ted. Drinks margarita. You got it, Becky. It's almost 5 below now. What? Where are you at? Oh, it must be freezing. Let me just catch up with chat real quick, guys. Oh, the making it. Somebody, Mark Net goes, just said, I liked watching the documentary on the making of Thunderbirds. You know something? It is this. I've seen clips of that. It's groundbreaking, and when you watch it, you're like, holy crap! That's something that Matt and Trey did not do. They did not watch. Don't to here. Let me just say it really quickly. Don't misunderstand me. I think both those guys are super talented and they're brilliant at what they do, and they're fast and creative, and they got so good at what they do, they got kind of full of themselves. So when they wanted to do something like Thunderbirds, they just thought, well, it's kind of like South Park. It is the comedy and the writing, and it's like. But when they started making the movie, they realized most of the jokes they didn't land in a puppet form. The stuff they were doing that thought was funny, it'd be funny, and when they did it in puppet form, it was bombing and not working. So that as they were making the movie, they had to rewrite the script and rewrite the dialogue as they were shooting the show and the puppets. So, but there's a great interview with those guys about it. They talked about literally by the time that movie, they were halfway into it and they had to work for free, and they were sleeping at 2-hour intervals. They would work, sleep for 2 or 3 hours, wake up and go back to work, and they did it for like quite some time, and it almost killed them. So yeah. So if you want to hear about, I think it's somewhere on YouTube. You might find that video. Oh, what? Okay, the feature film Thunderbirds. Mark Knight. That story about the live action Thunderbird, reason it was a piece of garbage, was when Trey and Reddy wanted to buy Thunderbirds, it caused a stir in Hollywood. So everybody was like, wait, it must be a hot property. So everybody popped up and wanted to buy Thunderbirds because Matt and Trey were willing to throw a ton of money at it. So it got everybody excited, like, wait a minute, who's trying to buy Thunderbirds? So Jerry Anderson's like, oh, so he had Thunderbirds. So everybody tried to buy it. Since Matt and Trey wanted to buy it, everybody else wanted to buy it. That's how Hollywood, it's so weird, guys, but that's how Hollywood works. It's so high school. So what ended up happening was, since Matt and Trey wanted it, and Jerry Anderson found out they were going to make a comedy of it, he was like, well, I'm not selling it to those guys. So he held on, and then a studio went and said, hey, well, we want to buy it and make it a live action movie. And they went, okay. So Jerry Anderson sold the rights to the studio to make it into a live action. I said it had Bill Paxton and stuff, but they didn't have the budget. They bought the show about these guys as an American international rescue team with all these super cool spaceships. And they're like, what are we going to do? So they just made like Spy Kids. They just made a cheap rip-off version of Spy Kids and made it to a line of Thunderbird, and it came and left because it was awful. Again, they didn't do any research. They just bought the title, got it, and said, we'll just crank it out. They did. It was garbage. And so Jerry Anderson was like, thanks, guys. Well, he made a chunk of change. He sold his rights, and they made a terrible live-action movie with no ships or special effects. Yeah, it was terrible. I think Ben Kingsley in it, too, as the bad guy. Yeah, just terrible. God, it was awful. Oh, yeah, John Hayes says, the Power Rangers reminds me of the 70s series. Yeah, Ultraman. Japanese power superheroes. There's a million of them in Japan. And the first Japanese cartoon to hit America was Astro Boy in 1963, was the year I was born. That was the Japanese invasion, and of course later on became Speed Racer and things we got later. Yeah, Japanese TV shows slowly trickled over, and it took us a while to finally catch on. I'm involved with Cosplay Collection, a nonprofit group out of Nashville, and also with the Bluegrass Mountain Rangers, a part of a fitness G.I. Joe costume group. Your videos help so much. Oh, hey, TG, thank you so much. Please, appreciate that. Star Blazers, yeah, Becky, I love that show too. We didn't have Star Blazers in St. Louis when I was growing up. We had Speed Racer, Ultraman, and Astro Boy and things like that. But Star Blazers was San Francisco, got it, certain places, but we never got Star Blazers. I was so mad because I heard about it, but we didn't have it. We had other shows. TG, thank you so much. If you can, yeah, definitely reach your con, or if you guys can reach out to me. I would love to come to Nashville. It'd be great if it's possible. All right, guys, I got 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, everybody, thank you so much for showing up today on my live stream. Now I finally changed my sign to Evil Ted Live. I'll be back next Sunday at 9 a.m. And I'll be honest with you guys, I can do build videos, but I really like just hanging out and talking to you guys. This is what keeps me going, is talking to you people, making an impact, taking the intimidation out of building, getting you guys to make your own stuff, and hearing what drives you, makes you guys passionate about building. I love it. And John Hayes, trust me, I think you should really take that energy you have from building stuff and not wait for people like myself to make stuff. You should start getting into it and start learning. That's how I learned. When I started, there was no tutorials or videos. I just wanted to make something, so I would just start experimenting and attempting to make stuff. And if I failed, I learned, okay, well, not to do that and do more. That's the biggest part of learning is failing. Don't be afraid. Just get started, start making stuff, and learn as you go. Because, as I say, don't wait to have the skill level to start a project. You develop the skill level as you build the project. That's how you learn. The passion is already there. Just get started and start making, and you'll learn as you go. Or just rewatch Star Trek Into Darkness, and I thought of you when I saw the Klingon weapons. Yeah, the funny one, the biggest one I ever spent the most time was that giant Gatling gun that Cumberbatch has, and he shows up and he shoots the guys and he jumps and drops it. I had like weeks to build that thing, and it was on the screen for 5 seconds. 5 seconds. The Klingon rifles and the pistols, you barely see. They're like, we put so much work and money into them and you barely see them. It's ridiculous. And also my least favorite Star Trek film. Yeah, that one was the worst one. But the Klingon weapons look cool. I like the Klingons. Klingons are actually cool. All right, guys. Thank you again so much. Again, people. Oh, Horsehead, thank you guys. If you guys are new to YouTube, thank you so much for the stream. Thanks for answering my questions. I wish you the best of health and you and your family. Speak to you again. Oh, thank you, Mark Knight. Thank you so much. Canada, we had a Doctor Who and monster look cheesy to me. Oh, dude, I love Doctor Who. Doctor Who's more about, because they didn't have a lot of money, but the writing and the directing and the acting was so top notch that you accepted the monsters being cheesy. Don't get me started on Doctor Who, guys. I could talk for hours on that too. I love that show. All right. I wonder if abundance of tutorials is actually causing a higher barrier to entry into the hobby. I wonder if the abundance of tutorials is actually causing a higher barrier. You know, Phelan, that's actually a good question because I'm trying to make I'm making videos on. It's one of the main reasons why I'm making shorter, little less intimidating videos. But don't worry, Phelan. We'll talk more about this. I got to bounce, guys. Not a bad thing to go do the basic tutorials. Yeah, thank you, Becky. That's what I'm going to start doing because I think kids cosplay is booming and it's a little overwhelming right now because there's so much stuff out there for them to choose from. They think they have to have all this stuff to get started, and they don't. So, thank you guys for supporting my venture moving forward to making short, simple videos. All right, guys. Again, I got to bounce. Thank you, everybody, so much. I will catch you back next time, this next Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Evil Ted Live. All right? See you guys. Thanks.